About 90% of Nigeria's economy move on roads, be it interstates or intercities. In Lagos, southwest Nigeria, they come in yellow with black stripes on buses, cars and tricycles. But we'll focus more on the buses and tricycles because even after attempts by the state government, they remain the major commercial means of movement. And this is in spite of complaints that they're a menace on the roads. The operators themselves do not agree with the mode of regulation of traffic laws.
They do not do any safety for us. They are safety themselves for their pocket and their job, where they will make in a weekly.
This attitude makes it difficult for the laws to be implemented on the road, and the regulators have to deal with enlightenment of these individuals.
The man is driving his bus and he sights a road safety vehicle in front. Then he brings out his seat belt and just put it like this and sit on it. And he passes the road safety man and he does it like that. What does that tell you?
We would not forget the articulated vehicles. These three groups make up the major source of economic movement in Lagos, and so everyone, and that includes other road users, have to cooperate to implement safety on the roads. That is our story on this episode of Big Story. I'm Ini John Mekwa. The latter color the roads of the commercial capital of Nigeria depending on individuals' perspective. But either way, they cannot be removed from the economic equation of the state without dire consequences. That's the story of the privately run commercial buses. They are commonly called danfo. A passenger bus that operates within the state and carries approximately 16 to 18 passengers. They play an essential role in the lives of millions of Lagosians, but there are also a lot of tales that the drivers have become threats to other road users.
If you analyze it sincerely, the key thing there is their level of education. Their low level of education is a problem. An average commercial yellow bus operator there is an illiterate or a dropout. We still have few who are conditioned make crayfish bend, who are educated and they are driving this just to make ends meet. But on the majority, we have low level of education among this class of drivers. And as such, it affects their attitudinal predisposition to the way they do things, including the way they use the road. And if you also look at an average yellow bus driver, how did he get to be driving the bus he's driving? He was first a motor boy. He was first that Abuiro you see in the park shouting, K to my 12 Pan Grove, loading the buses. And gradually, he will start repacking the vehicle for the driver in the park. And from repacking the vehicle, the driver will one day hand over the key to him. Having done one experimental driving in one of the primary school fields here or there. So, in essence, an average commercial bus driver never attended any formal driving school lesson, so to say. It came about his driving by means of an apprenticeship method. And there is so much knowledge gap here because at that point in time, yes, he can move the vehicle, but can he really interpret the traffic signs? The man is driving his bus and he sights a road safety vehicle in front. Then he brings out his seat belt and just put it like this and sit on it. And he passes the road safety man and he does it like that. What does that tell you? He did the one he did just to avoid being arrested, not out of conviction that putting on seat belt has any value for him. So the day he understands that this seat belt is for my own personal safety, not because of the road safety man that is on the road, then he will put it without being compelled to do so, or without whether he's being observed or whether he will be arrested or not is not an issue for him.
Irrespective of the various points of views expressed about these drivers, they are humans, mostly men, breadwinners, husbands, fathers, brothers, who are just trying to make ends meet. A lot of them say their jobs are not voluntarily chosen, but have become the only available alternative that daily leaves them with discouragements and discomforts.
We encounter a lot of problems here. Number one, a last man. A last man can hold you for anything, including your seatbelt. They will be dragging the seatbelt with you. Now, including the road safety also. Maybe you are going, they will just stop you unnecessarily, just park you. They can ask you, maybe your tire is expiring, is so, all those encounter problems. The VIO is the most worstest. The most worstest so far. They are worstest so far. The worstest so far they have is they not have for your particular or whatever. They ask for maybe driver institute. Now driver institute is no issue. It's no, or they should ask for speed limit. We are intercity, not interstate. They do not do any safety for us. They are safety themselves for their pocket and their job, where they will make in a weekly.
In 2017, the state government announced a bus reform initiative which would include a 3-year plan aimed at introducing 5,000 air-conditioned buses to replace the yellow buses, also create an efficient transportation system to cater for majority of the about 21 million residents of the state. But this has not been enough to clear the yellow buses and the tricycles off the roads. Consequently, their attitude has to be straightened to accommodate other road users.
If you also come with such a force as the public wants us to treat them, you might miss it. So it's like the monkey and you holding the banana. You keep on playing on their intelligence until you get them to your side to do what you really want. And they can also be very violent. Remember their background. I told you an average commercial yellow bus driver in Lagos was first and foremost an agbero before he started. That is like an average one. We still have exceptions, but on the majority, they are very, very the same. And if somebody is on drug, and you know that the person is on drug, in your relationship or in your dealing with him, you need to have that at the back of your mind. If you come out today and say you want to clamp down on all yellow buses in Lagos, what do you think? Even the public will fight you. The public, you are protecting their interests, they are going to also fight you. And you are going to cause so much chaos in Lagos. So what you do is you pick them one by one, one after the other. There is hardly any FRSC office or LASMA office that you will go that you will not see an impounded yellow bus. Not because they don't want to pay. Even when they want to pay, you refuse them from paying until you carry out some sensitization on the person. Make him go through the classes. Make him watch video films. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. Some of these people have not even witnessed real life crash scene that will teach them that lesson.
Most of the yellow buses do not look roadworthy but still manage to operate on the roads. Ensuring that vehicles plying the roads are in the right condition is the major responsibility of the vehicle inspection officers, mostly engineers. Leading the team in Lagos is engineer Akin George Fashola.
We regulate their operations. When I say we, I mean the Ministry of Transport regulates their activities, what routes they can ply, who should get a license to do it. But you have to understand that the sheer numbers that they are poses a challenge for us. We apprehend them every day. And funny enough, I know this is not a cognizant note, but they actually do their paperwork as in they get the roadworthiness, they get the vehicle license, and they're usually up to date on their paperwork. Where we have issues with them are in their driving habits, how they apply the road and where they drop off or pick up passengers. Those are the main issues that we have with them. But in terms of vehicular particulars, they are mostly compliant. When we go out for our daily routine, we do apprehend them in massive numbers, I might say. And when we apprehend them, aside from paying the fine or the penalty for the traffic offense or the road offenses, they have to fix the vehicles before they can leave or be allowed to go back on the road, which they do. And like I said before, it's just the sheer numbers of them. They are a lot. And we will continue to apprehend the ones that are not roadworthy, emitting smoke, that are disturbing citizens. We also have to be mindful of the safety of the citizens and the safety of our men. It is very difficult to apprehend some of these vehicles. Some of them have a disregard for life, for safety, and we have to be mindful of that. So they will reduce in number over a period of time because we will not relent on our effort to get rid of such vehicles on our road.
Failure to meet up with the set-out standard before placing vehicles on the roads, the VIOs promise no compromise in applying the law.
The minimum fine for traffic offense, there are lots of traffic offense, is 20,000 in Lagos State. So, for example, driving with a broken windscreen, bad emissions, bald tires, broken headlights, the bodywork is just completely gone. Each offense is 20,000 naira. So the numbers can go up easily. Each offense is 20,000. We don't mandate you to do anything. You're the one that says, I want to put my vehicle on the road. And as a responsible government, you have to advocate laws that protect everybody on the road. Law says, if you want to put your vehicle on the road, you have to make sure it's roadworthy, it has all the prescribed particulars, and you are licensed to drive at any given time. There is no grace period, not even a day, not a second. There's no grace period.
Next to the buses are tricycles. Interestingly, women are venturing into this area more and more. The reason is survival.
Because business is not moving, I decided to enter transport and was selling food stock. So the thing did not move, it's not moving. In fact, it cannot afford our meal in a day. I decided to enter tetracycle business.
Aside from getting a better job, this is the only alternative one has. Some of us that does this tricycle job graduated from Okada. And if you noticed, some of these Okada do ride rough. And I guess some of us use the same mentality into tricycle business. But I, for one, as a person, I don't think I do. Because I wouldn't want to disappoint my family getting involved into an accident which would affect my family. So I'm usually careful. But one is bound to make mistakes once in a while. But normally I'm careful when it comes to my mood of riding.
A mixed breed in the business, and it shows at every encounter on the road. But if they cannot be replaced in the transport system of the state, then regulating authorities have the duty to bring them up to speed with the demands that would allow them to operate safely and efficiently without posing danger to other people. The presence of the articulated vehicles is another major topic for discussion. They are another can't do without group. Many of them deliver petroleum products, crops and goods for export and import. A lot of accidents have been linked to the attitude and condition of the trucks on Lagos roads.
The theme of our training is national safety.
These are representation of the drivers of trucks on Lagos roads, the ones who many say intimidate other drivers because of the size of their vehicles. The traffic regulating agencies make it their obligation to spend time with them, sharing information on how to stay safe.
They will be receiving phone calls. They'll be receiving phone calls. And once you are receiving phone calls, there might be some calls that will be so bad that once you get it, you just lose control. Are you getting it? So these are some of the things that we don't want you to be doing. When you are driving, forget about phone calls, unless you are using hands-free. When you are driving, forget about overspeeding. Many people, when a smaller vehicle wants to overtake you, it is that time that you increase your own speed too. Am I lying? I've seen some of us do on the road. You don't want a smaller vehicle to overtake you. Most times you see all these long truck, tankers, and these trailers occupying the fast lane. So that when another vehicle wants to overtake you, you are supposed to be on the right, but you now go to the fast lane, which is on the left. And it is not the proper thing to do. In Lagos State, and in LASMA, most times we have breakdown. And I remember we gave some numbers last year that when your vehicle breaks down, you should have C caution, you should be able to call. Either you are calling your office at the NUPEN office there, or you call a tow truck to come and help you to remove those vehicles. The law says that you can drive anytime because you carry precious commodities, which is needed at all filling stations. But when your vehicle breaks down, most times you just break down in the middle of the road and there is nothing you could do, but you leave it there. Again, most of your drivers, how many of them have gone for eye test? Most of them, they are old. Look at the people here now. We hardly see a young boy of under 30 years driving a tanker. We see elderly people that are experienced in driving. That is good. But as a man approaches 40 and above, medically there is need for him to go for what? Eye test. For us to have safety on our roads, we need to be more cautious in the way we drive. And as a result, in Lagos State, government came up with a rule, and it's called 2012 Traffic Law, which was now remodelled in 2018. It was remodified. And in that law, it states that all vehicles should be roadworthy.
Implementing the roadworthiness law is the job of the Vehicle Inspection Service, although the law is not restricted to articulated vehicles.
In an ideal situation, we have said so many times that every vehicle that applies to roads in the state are supposed to go for a computerized vehicle inspection. During that inspection, it can reveal to you the quality of your brakes. It can tell you what is the life expectancy of your brake. If it has a couple more months to go, it gives those ratios in percentages. You know, you can get 80%, you can get 20%. If you're at 20%, you know that, oh, okay, I need to change my brakes. So they're supposed to do that. Now, what we try to do is we don't try to apprehend them on the road because it's very dangerous. You can imagine stopping a 33-ton truck on the road. It's not an easy task. So we do one of two things. We have what you call fleet management, where we physically go to the organizations that has a lot of these vehicles and we inspect their fleets there. A lot of companies do that. We go there, we inspect them, we give them a certification of clean bill, and they go about their business. The other ones, either we go to the parks or we go to their place of business where they carry most of their goods. Now, a gray area in that right now where we're having challenges is Apapa Port. That's a huge challenge. So until the federal government can sort that out, we will still continue to experience that. But we do the best that we can. The ones that we can stop on the road, we stop them. But going forward, Ministry of Transportation as a whole has come out with a policy that if your vehicle, that is the articulated trucks, you know, the tanker fuels, the container, if your vehicle fails and breaks down on the road, we will apprehend and tow it, and you will pay a fine. But if you can prove to us that you have a computerized vehicle inspection from any of our centers and you have passed, we'll let it go. It's a mechanical failure, it can happen. We will let you go. But if you cannot, we will tow you and you'll pay the appropriate fine.
But the drivers also have some militating factors which impede them from operating optimally.
We have been urging them, pleading with them for the past few years. We need a park. We need a resting place. I want to tell you, between here and Ogiri, no resting place. We have to partner with some private investor who have land at Ogiri to please make it a park for us. And we are sure that our driver make use of it. But government, we have been urging them, we have been imploring them to please kindly, especially in Lagos, because most of this truck come as far as Gombe, Port Harcourt, to get to Lagos to load. They need a place to rest. Not that I'm coming straight from anywhere and I just entered the bus to load. Fatigue will set in. And after loading, no even other place. For you to stay, you have to move on. So when they said woman factor, woman error are causing most of the traffic, sometimes it's fatigue. No tanker driver, no owner of the truck. We give a truck to the tanker driver or a tanker driver that wants to drive, that we said, this brake is not good, I want to manage it. His life is important. So sometimes it might have loaded the depot, and along the road, he has a problem. And he's looking for where he can stop to fix this problem. And sometimes in our road, from Apapa to the outside Lagos, the body of Ogun State, there's nowhere for tanker driver or even drivers to say, let me park. I quickly fix this. No labor. So sometimes when drivers is the problem, is in danger, you want to try as much as possible to make sure that it doesn't affect the other road users. At least to manage it to the point of where it's safe.
Keeping the roads safe is a joint responsibility, and really the location is inconsequential. So let's do this together. Drop a comment on our social media platform and watch Big Story over and over again on our YouTube channel. That's it for this episode. I'm Ini John Mekwa.